Hello and welcome back to Homemade Soul Food for the Work at Home Chef. And today we're talking about financial planning. This isn't going to be a long video because of the fact that I'm going to give you an additional bonus video that we talk about the 9 areas of that financial foundation, but I'm going to give you the starter for what it takes to develop a financial setup for what it is that you're building out. Okay? So I'm taking you to a note. Here we go. What do you want? This is the question. Maybe you are looking to replace your salary. What was your salary? What were you making in your previous job? Were you making an adequate amount of pay in your previous job? Were you making $40,000 a year? Or were you making $60,000 a year? Do you want to give yourself a pay increase? What is the increase in which you want to give yourself? How much would be a comfortable amount of money for you to make by the end of the year? You're going to take that amount and follow me very, very carefully. Maybe you might say to yourself, I want to make as an annual income maybe you want to make $100,000 a year. But in understanding you want to make $100,000 a year, you got to look at your clientele. Who is willing to pay what is going to make the equivalent for your $100,000 a year? What's going to make the equivalent for your $100,000 a year is 12 divided by, you do a division, which is a slash, that $100,000 which is going to show you how much you're going to make in a month. Let's see here. 12 divided by 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I always do that backwards, man. You're supposed to take the $100,000, divide that by 12. That's going to be $8,333 per month. You can round it up to $84,000. Always round up. That's one thing I'll always remember from childhood. Round up. Now, that means per month you're making $21,000 per week. well, not $21,000, but $2,100 per week. Now, if you have a client every single day, that means for 5 days a week, you're going to divide that by 5. That's $420 a day. If you're doing one client a day, you're dividing over each individual person. Now, maybe all you want to make per day for each individual person, and you divide it by 5. So if, let's say you're doing it for a single person and you go for $420 a day, meaning that person is paying for you to come in $420 a day, and they're paying for their own groceries. Then that's for that one single person. Now, if you're doing it by 5, meaning you're doing it by 5 people. Now, all you are interested in making in 1 year is $100,000, then sure, you do that. Because you're only doing one person for an entire week. If that's too much for you, divide over that 5 days. Maybe what you need to do is do $420 per person for 5 people in 1 day. You got a household of 5 people. It's going to be $420 per individual. Which means you're going to be doing this for higher end clients that can afford to pay you $2,000 for one sitting. Now, you're doing this for an average person. Yeah, you can do $420 for 5 people if you're doing a regular household. But they're paying for the groceries, so you're not taking the hit on the groceries. They're paying for the groceries. The only reason you would take a hit on the groceries is if, and even yet and still, they can still pay for the groceries if you do it as a delivery service. That's a good catch for that, because you have them pay for the groceries, and if you're bringing the food to them, you have it set up that either they do an Amazon account delivery from Amazon to have the food delivered to your home meaning you need a 24 to 48 hour head lead time, meaning you're going to receive the groceries first thing in the morning, have it always set up that they set it that the groceries will arrive first thing in the morning, which means they have 24 hours to set the delivery to deliver to your house the morning of when it needs to be delivered. Now, depending on where you have to drive, so on and so forth, the groceries will meet you at your home. You will then prepare them and send it out. Meaning you're either going to use a service like an Uber Eats that will pick the groceries up from you, take the meals to the house at the point of time in which they need to be delivered. Meaning they're supposed to be receiving the food at dinner time. Uber Eats will pick it up from you and deliver it to them. Grubhub, from you to them. Understand, listen carefully, that in a situation that you use these types of services, for the credit card payments, they're going to cut a good percentage of your pay out, meaning anywhere from a third of the pay or more out. I know using Amazon KDP when it comes down to book development, that's why I have not used them. That's probably why my book ain't out yet. They want to take a 70% cut and leave you the 30%. These hard times out here. I know it's hard times for them too, but if you're not making as many sales and you're not a person that's over there and trying to get your Amazon bestseller, and lo and behold, you try and get your Amazon bestseller, that means the way it operates to get your Amazon bestseller, most people put a discounted price and do a discounted flash sale in order to get the rating on their book or whatever. Whatever. But you're doing something like this with a Grubhub or something, they take in some type of commission off of that. Anywhere from 30 to more out of the card swipe. If you know this, that means you're also going to have to calculate that in the gratuity of your price. Meaning, for swipe, you know what percentage is going to be taken out. You got to add that to your cost. Anything that they need, any extras that they need you to do, add that in to whatever the grocery price that they're paying. Do not, I repeat, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Don't give them an itemized list of the fees in which they are going to pay. Give it to them as a flat rate, because when you give it to them as a flat rate, they don't see a whole bunch of numbers, which one intimidates them, two, they're like, why am I paying for this? That way, if in case of emergencies, maybe there's a delay, maybe something happens, maybe Amazon didn't deliver on time, maybe something, what have you. And please, remember that contractual policy I told you to do? Add it in there. If a delivery does not come on time, we can either A, reschedule, B, it's going to come later, C, do something in order to give them back that ability to receive, meaning have a different schedule, meaning maybe you weren't able to do it this week, but you can do it for them next week. And make sure that you're in communication with Amazon, because Amazon is pretty good. If they say they don't deliver something, it usually comes on time and it comes to where it's supposed to be. The only reason it wouldn't come to where it's supposed to be is if you told the person to put in their information and they put the information in wrong. And then you're like, where's the package at? And it's like, well, I put the information in. You call them back, what information did you put in? Oh, I put in your address is such and such and such and such. How did you spell that? Such and such and such and such. That's like, my address didn't have an A in it. It had an O. The apartment number wasn't 3. It was 4. Those little things. Understand what I'm saying? So, it's all these little elements that need to be added in. Now, you can expound upon this, but you'd rather do flat rate than itemized. You want to expand over a certain period of time. When you're first starting, maybe you only want to do $100,000 per year. 9 times out of 10, most people were making $40,000 a year anyway, so $100,000 by doing 5 meals a week. Hey, you doing real good. If you can get somebody to pay you $420 a day for 5 days a week to make their meals for them and pay for their groceries to be delivered to you, you prep it for them and cook it and then bring it directly to their home. And you have a consistent chain of Uber Eats or Grubhub or what have you, and you have it set up appropriately. Or maybe you have the ability yourself that you can drive to their home and drop the food off if you're that work from home cook. Now, maybe you have the ability that maybe you don't have kids. Maybe your kids is grown. Maybe you don't have small little children. Maybe you don't have children that are in the house because they all in college or they're all off in high school and they do their own recreational things in the afternoon. So you have the day to yourself. You can afford to make the meal for breakfast or I'll make the what have you by dinner time, and I can drive it directly to you as long as it's net. Then guess what they're paying for? You're adding a fee for gas tax. And in today's economy, oh yes, you add the gas tax in that flat rate if you're the one that's paying for it. So these are all things to look at. What do you want? Look at what you're desiring to do. You have to, one, give yourself a reasonable goal. And I didn't spell that right. Some want the 40, but due to inflation, maybe they want the 60. Maybe they have never had $100,000 as a yearly salary. Maybe they want to fit into a new tax bracket and they want to do $200,000. What is your goal? What bills do you have to pay? Calculate all of your bills. Calculate what you would need. Calculate your expenses, your budget, and all of this for your savings by the end of the month. What would you comfortably feel good with putting away? Your giving, your savings, your so on and so forth. Calculate all that. What does that look like multiplied over 12 months? Now that you know your base cost, that's your base of you have to have this in order to live comfortably. Can you multiply that? You want to make it 1 time over, 2 times over, because if you do it 2 times over, that means you're not only just being able to pay those things and have just enough, you're able to have enough and then have extra on the side for your giving, for your nest eggs, for your trainings, for your expenses and fees for your business, for whatever it is that's on the side. You can double it. Maybe you want to triple it, and after you've paid all of that off, you got extra money on the side that you got some play money. You got some extra investment money. You got college fund money. You got CD money. You got money on the side like that. Because you multiplied your necessity amount to have for the end of the year by what would be comfortable multiplied by 3. Maybe you want to multiply it by 4. It's all up to you. But understand, the higher you go, understand the clientele must be different. Meaning you are targeting higher end clientele. Can you target higher end clientele? Absolutely. You just have to be comfortable with that. when you are prepping for people. Now, understand the higher end clientele may want to see what you're doing. Now, some of them may not. Maybe they trust you enough because they're busy enough. They're like, yo, I know I can't sit up there and babysit you, but I do understand that if you make it inside of my house, I'm covered. If you're doing an event, I know that I'm covered. I already showed you the rate caps for the example of a 4 to 5 day week. You can even do this as a secondary example for $1,000. Oops. If all you really wanted to make was $200 a week, which means you only making about $50,000 a year. On that range per month per person. And let's say you want to scale up. Working from home, you want to get out. You've been stuck and cooped up in the house for too long. You want to see what the world looks like on the outside, and you want to do events. You can price your events, price per person, because that's the same thing that you was doing. Pricing per person. You're always dividing by 5. Divided by 5 equals 50. You always want to start with something that's, depending on how low the income of the target market in which you're targeting is, you can do $40 per person. But you also got to look at what you're putting in to the work that's being done. Now, this is specifically for events, so you don't want to go over $100 per person for events because you're more than likely going to have 50 people. You want to have such so and so. You're making a lot in one commission in one day. And then if you're doing meal prep for somebody, you're going to do $250 for meal prep, depending on who your audience is. Now, here's the fun part. Who are you targeting? Who is it that's going to want to buy this? Are these people that have dietary issues? Maybe you want to partner with a dietitian, a nutritionist, a health coach. The health coach that you know locally has a good range of clients. They need somebody to prep their food. Maybe they don't have the room to have somebody in their home, and it's great that you have the ability. I'll cook it in my house. But what I might say is if you want to make the person feel comfortable, show them that your cooking area. And 9 times out of 10, if you're cooking and you're showing off your cooking area, you're going to make sure your cooking area looks pristine to the person. That way the person knows what they're paying for and where you're cooking it is healthy, safe, and sanitary. Because they can see your living space. You can see the space in the kitchen that you're working out of. Just to give them an extra level of comfort. You want to work with those types of people. Now, sometimes when you're creating rates, you got 200, 300, whatever your Y value is for how many days you work. You take that same Y and you do your percentages. Or maybe a 20%. To 35%. You want to always make sure after this you have one minimum price, meaning anything you need done can't be below your X value to ensure you are receiving your minimum. Listen to me very carefully. Do never ever charge by the hour. Because if you charge by the hour, you are not aligning the fact that something can happen by accident. Like I said, the food delivery person is late. Something happens on your end. You got an emergency. Something occurs. Something happens. You need to delay time. Something happens on your end. You have something that happened with your kids. It's going to take you a little bit more time. Traffic. In order for you to deliver, it takes a little bit longer for you to get to the location because of traffic. All of these things. Unexpected happenstances. Never charge by the hour. Not with this type of client. Again, repeating. Flat rate. Always. Always charge flat rate, because when they see the itemized list of all the things that they're paying for, then they become concerned with why they're paying for all of these individual things. Why am I paying for this? Why am I paying for this? Why am I paying for this? They don't need to see all that. Just show them the amount that they're paying for, and they will pay it 9 times out of 10. If they want the service, they're going to pay for it. And these are people that have money, they will pay for it. If your targeted client is in a higher end person that can afford to pay $800 a day for you to cook an entire meal, then yes, and they love your services, they buy you out for the week. They buy you out for the month. They want you to be their only cook. There you go. You're always passing the grocery cost off. We already went over these. And increase your price over time. You can always, per yearly, double your rates if you want to move into different areas. Maybe you want to have different levels of customer. Maybe you have a minimal customer, and that customer is only paying for this particular service because this is the area which they can afford, because they live in a different area, that they are in a food insecurity, but they do want somebody to make their food for their families. Maybe they're a middle class family and they were hit hard by societal issues, so they'll pay the lower end. They can pay that $4.20, where you may have another level that they pay the $8.20. Maybe you have another level where they pay $12.60. Each level is for a different level of client. How do you get a different level of client? It'll run you up on game. Start contacting luxury vacation homes in your local area. Get realtors in your local area. If you live in an affluent neighborhood that is being built up, I live in Maryland right now. In Maryland, they're building up properties left, right, and sideways. New buildings, new condominiums, downtown in the city, all kinds of stuff. There are people that would love, probably as soon as they move into their house, to have a gratuity from the realtor to say, I know somebody that will deliver your meals for that first few weeks while you're getting adjusted. Because maybe you don't have the room or the stuff for them to be able to cook the food in their house. Meaning, they ain't got nothing there yet. But you can cook from home, deliver by Uber Eats, and they'll have a meal by dinner time. And they want to pay you for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks while they're getting their house in order. Because they're still trying to figure out decorating things, and they don't want to think. They don't want to think about what they have to eat. Because after they finish decorating all day, they're like, wait, I forgot I needed to eat. Oh, I had to work on side of decorating. Wait, I still need to eat something. They contact you. They pay the groceries. They pay, okay, within 2 days, I'm contacting you on a Saturday evening. I'm paying for the groceries to arrive to your house by Monday morning at 8 a.m. I'm expecting dinner by 6. Meaning you have to cook the dinner that morning. You have to prep it, package it, and be by their location by 6 p.m. Meaning Uber Eats is going to be picking up the food and delivering it. Grubhub, delivering it. Whoever's delivering it, gotta deliver it. It be at their door by said time. The key factor is that if you want to grow this financially, is you are not using websites online and Instagram. Yes, you can do that. I just showed you how to do that. But you want to cut through the noise? Now you can use your Instagram just to give them something as a reference point. And maybe you want to use it as a funnel. Meaning you're funneling the system through your social media. But the actual contents is being received because you're word of mouthing it and contacting dietitians, nutritionists, luxury home, vacation home people, Airbnb people, income space people that are using their space for events and event coordination. The sky is the limit. If you have local hairdressers, they want to run a party. Maybe you want to contact, and here's an idea, Avon sales associates who run parties. TLC associates that run parties. But how am I going to find? Do you realize? Just Google. I guarantee you, people like TLC, they got locations in places. You can offer their services to whoever is running that location locally in your area. $3.99. And then you make communications, find out other people through these people, whether it be your through realtors, through luxury home providers, all those kinds of things. And they can connect you with other connections, content people, so on and so forth. And you will strategically have partnerships that will set you up. You can, and because you're a work from home person, catch this. There's a reason that I use the word work from home. Work from home is a catchphrase that you're going to catch a lot of people that are stay-at-home moms. They are people that have just gotten a job or just left a job. Maybe they are at-home people and they're just trying to keep their house in order. They need somebody like yourself. Target work from home people. Just way around everything. Everything. But you have to be willing to think about it. And the answer is there. Make the partnerships, collaborate with agencies, companies, develop this into a company and or agency that provides. Think what you can manage, but always have in the back of your mind expansion, because as you expand, as you do more, help more, give more, do philanthropy for more, you're going to want to do more. Because at the end of the day, it shouldn't only be for you. It should be something that you are providing a service not only to help you, but to serve others, and in turn do something more and better for other people. Maybe you're the one running an event that's fundraising to be able to help somebody else be fed. What are we doing? How are we doing? Think bigger than yourself. Because when you think bigger than yourself, you can receive better than yourself. So I hope this blessed you. I will be attaching the make your money. It's either make your money, or make your bills pay you video on financial foundational setup that you can get, things that you would need to think about as you're building this business. I'm tongue tied today. So this is Yo Proctor, Taj McCameron, and until next time, bye-bye.